guys, hello everyone! Welcome back to my short tutorial. My name is Inga and in our today's tutorial I'll show you how to use my mockups that I created recently. Once again, it's just to help you understand better how to use mockups, why do we need them, and once again, you don't actually need to have my mockups. You can use the mockups that you have or you bought like in some other places. It's totally fine. I just want to tell you what are the main parts of mockups. Is it just a JPEG image or it's maybe PSD format file? So today I'm gonna tell you some brief information about that. So what I want to tell you, so first of all, of course, mockups are widely used in Photoshop. So the mockups that I created are especially for Procreate. They help you to showcase your artwork. Some people create mockups with iPad, other people create mockups with watercolor papers or some other different scenes. So I created mockups in vintage style with watercolor paper, and when you add your artwork, it helps you to actually create this watercolor texture on your artwork. So I have 10 mockups and I'll show you how it works. Also, in a set that I created, I have 10 mockups that is Procreate format. Also, same 10 mockups in PNG format. It's very simple because PNG format I left the middle part where we have the paper empty. So you will not have this watercolor texture, but you might use mockup like totally separately from the Photoshop Procreate. You just need to have the layers and place your artwork underneath our actual paper. I'll show you how it works. So we need to export some artwork. So we have our lovely girl with penguin. I'm gonna zoom them a little bit, and as you might see, we have our illustration. Okay, like that. So it's pretty simple to use. This is a PNG format. I also have JPEG file, and also I have Procreate files where you have lots of layers, shades, and also I created like as a bonus textured brush set. This is one of the brushes that I created that also can help you to add even more realistic look. So once again, this is the first mockup. I have some instruction here that helps you to understand better how to use mockups. So this is the first mockup, this is second one, third, and fourth. I have 10 different mockups. This is just the first canvas with 4 mockups. This is mockup number 5, number 6, and 7. Next, the last 3 mockups. This is the first one, and the last mockup. So guys, I have the shades here and you can't separate them. You can enhance the shading, I'll show you. You can make it more or less saturated, it's up to you, but you can't remove the shades. So how it works? How to export our picture, and you see our watercolor paper has watercolor texture, and when you export your picture, it also will have this watercolor texture. I'll show you. We need to go to the layer where it's written your artwork, and we need to export our illustration into this layer. So let's do it. We're gonna grab Action, Add, Insert a photo. Ta-da! So we have our girl. Also pay attention there, because this is a vintage style mockups. I made the color, the shading a little bit like darker than your original image, because if your picture is too bright, it would be not natural. So we have the girl here from this side, we can move it that way. So what you might see, you see we have the girl, we have our illustration. We can turn off the shades and it will be less saturated. If you like, you can duplicate the layers and the shading will be even darker. Next, you might see that the picture already was in watercolor style. But if your artwork doesn't have watercolor texture, but you want to have it, you still can do it. So let's go to the second paper and let's export some picture, like photo. So for example, we grab this lovely bird. If you need, we can increase the brightness a little bit. Use the curves. And as you might see, our lovely bird started to have this watercolor texture. Same with the shades. You might turn off the shades, make it less saturated. You can duplicate the layer, and in this way the shadings will be even more saturated. We have also our watercolor paper arches, and we will go to this mockup, go to the layer your artwork and place some illustration. Same, you see, our bird started to have this lovely texture. Once again, you might make it brighter by using curves and adjusting the color variations. But that was a brief explanation how to use my mockups or how to use any other mockups. Guys, once again, if you use Photoshop, there are lots of mockups for Photoshop. You might find them like in different markets, or you might make your own. It's also pretty simple, and if you want, I can teach you how to do it. You might leave the comment in the description of this tutorial, of this video, and I will know that it's interesting for you, so I can create something interesting and I can share my knowledge about how to create a mockup for Procreate. So once again, you might use PSD file for mockup, you might use Procreate files that are specially for Procreate, like the ones that I created. Also, you might use like very simple versions. Those are JPEG pictures that if you want, you can add them, export them in a Procreate, you can export them in a Photoshop, and after, thanks to layers, you can place your picture on the top of this illustration. You have the mockups of this PNG format. So sometimes those mockups, they have some transparent background or like the area where you need to place your artwork, and it's easier to place your artwork in mockup. But in this case, pay attention, you will not have some textures and your illustration will not be layered. So you will not have shades, you will not have watercolor texture or some other textures. But once again, depending on the situation, you might be interested in different mockups. Okay guys, thank you so much for your attention, and let's see each other in a new video. Bye bye!